The first whisper. You're sitting in your car in a parking lot. Engine off. Phone down. Nowhere to be. And for the first time in a long time, it's quiet. Not peaceful quiet. Hollow quiet. Like something is missing and you don't have a name for it yet. Then it happens. A thought drifts in. Soft. Almost invisible. Go check on her. You don't know where it came from. It doesn't sound dramatic. It doesn't boom. It doesn't shake the ground. It's just there. You ignore it. You start the car. 3 days later, you find out she was in the hospital that night. Alone. And you remember the thought. The quiet one. The one you dismissed. That was level 1. That was the voice, and you almost missed it. Learning the frequency. You go back to that parking lot. Not because it's special. Because you're desperate. You need to hear it again. But this time nothing comes. Just your own mind. Racing. Cluttered. Loud with yesterday's arguments and tomorrow's anxiety. Here's what nobody tells you at this stage. The voice doesn't compete with noise. It waits. So you start waking up at 5 a.m. Not because you're disciplined. Because you're hungry. The house is dark. The city hasn't started yet. You open the Bible not as a ritual, but like a letter you've been avoiding. And something shifts. A verse lands different. It's not just words on a page. It feels aimed. At you. At your exact situation. At the thing you told nobody. That's not coincidence. That's the frequency. You're beginning to tune in. The test. Now it gets uncomfortable. Because the voice starts saying things that don't make sense. Quit that job. You've got bills. You've got a reputation. You've got people watching. Forgive him. He doesn't deserve it. You have evidence. You have witnesses. Give away the money. You were saving that. That was yours. This is the level where most people stop. They say, maybe it wasn't God. Maybe I imagined it. They talk themselves out of it because obedience has a price tag, and they weren't expecting that. But you stay. You sit with the discomfort. You start journaling, writing down what you hear, dating it, because you've learned something dangerous. You need to test the voice not to doubt God, but to know the difference between his voice, your own fear, and the other voices that pretend. God's voice never contradicts his word. God's voice never rushes you into panic. God's voice produces peace even when the instruction is terrifying. You write that down. You underline it twice. The counterfeit. This is the level they don't warn you about. You've been hearing clearly. Things have been aligning. You're starting to trust the process. Then one night a thought comes in. Urgent. Compelling. Emotional. This is the one. Move now. Don't wait. You'll miss it. It feels like God. It has the same texture. But there's a pressure attached to it. A manufactured urgency. You move fast. You tell people. You're certain. And it falls apart. Publicly. You're embarrassed. Confused. Betrayed not by God, but by your own desperation to hear something that confirmed what you already wanted. That was you. Not him. This is the crucible moment. You can walk away from all of it here, call it fake, call it delusion, go back to just living by logic. Or you can go deeper. The wound teaches you something gold. God speaks with peace, not pressure. He leads, he doesn't push. His timing doesn't require you to abandon wisdom. You survive level 4 humbled, which means you're finally ready. The upgrade. Something changes in how you carry yourself. People notice, they can't name it, but they feel it. You walk into a room and you're not the loudest, but somehow you're the most present. Because you've been practicing something invisible. Every morning, you don't reach for your phone first. You sit. You wait. Sometimes 10 minutes. Sometimes 40. You've built what mystics call the cell of inner silence. And in that silence, clarity comes in ways that stop you cold. You're praying for a friend, and you suddenly know something about them you were never told. You call them. They break down on the phone. How did you know? You don't fully understand how, but you know it wasn't you. You start getting direction for decisions before they become crises. Turn left before the road closes. Call before the window shuts. Say yes before the door disappears. The voice is now less like a whisper and more like a compass. Constant. Quiet. Directional. The warfare. Here's what spiritual growth no one posts on social media. The clearer you hear, the louder the interference gets. At level 6, you are in a war. Not with people. Not with circumstances. With noise. With distraction. With a kind of spiritual static that targets you specifically. Old addictions knock on the door again. Relationships that drain your frequency find their way back in. Your mind starts offering you rational reasons to skip the morning silence. You're busy. You'll do it later. God understands. Weeks pass and the clarity fades. You feel the distance. Not because God moved, Because you stopped showing up at the place where you used to meet. This is the level where discipline becomes warfare. You guard your inner life like it's a frequency that enemies want jammed. Because it is. You rebuild the wall. Earlier mornings. Harder fasting. Deeper prayer. Not as performance as pursuit. And the voice returns. Clearer than before. Because now you know what silence without it feels like. And you never want to go back. The wait. You didn't ask for this. But at level 7, you start hearing things not just for yourself, but for others. A stranger at the grocery store. You sense something specific. It's compassionate. It's accurate. Do you say it? The risk is real. You look like a fool if you're wrong. But you've been wrong before and survived it. So you speak. And they stare at you like you just read their mail. They start crying in the cereal aisle. This is no longer a private spiritual practice. It has become a calling. And callings are not comfortable. People will call you weird. Some will call you dangerous. Religious people, ironically, will be the most suspicious. Who do you think you are? And you'll have to answer that question honestly, in the quiet, every single morning. Because the moment you start thinking you are something, the moment pride wraps itself around the gift, the signal corrupts. Pride is static. Humility is the antenna.